We adapt. Now this as millions of kids are heading back to school.
Within 400,000 reported a day.
Chinese hospitals are being overwhelmed with what's being called a mysterious viral outbreak, and it's drawing comparisons to the early days of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Human metapneumovirus, or more commonly referred to as hMPV, is a virus a part of the same family as RSV, measles, and mumps. First identified in 2001, hMPV has become a consistent contributing factor to respiratory illnesses worldwide, mostly being incredibly common in kids. According to the CDC, 10 to 12% of respiratory illnesses affecting children are caused by this disease, with the majority of cases being able to be safely managed at home. However, symptoms caused by hMPV often overlap with those of influenza and RSV, which makes it challenging to distinguish without laboratory testing. Given the global burden of respiratory illnesses, understanding the role of hMPV has become increasingly important, especially in light of the recent surge in cases reported in China. This video aims to unpack the various aspects of hMPV, from its biology and epidemiology to its recent surge in popularity due to heightened media attention. In late 2024, China's Disease Control Authority said it was stepping up its monitoring of emerging respiratory diseases, as they expected cases to rise over the winter and into spring. Reports then emerged from China highlighting a notable increase in respiratory infections caused by hMPV. The rise was first detected through heightened surveillance systems, which revealed that hMPV accounted for approximately 6% of positive respiratory tests nationwide. The National Health Commission then reported an uptick in pediatric hospital admissions, with children under 14 representing the majority of severe cases. Although hMPV is not new, this sudden surge sparked concerns, especially among health providers already grappling with RSV and flu cases that experience a seasonal uptick around this time. China's response has included ramping up healthcare resources to manage the influx of cases and reinforcing public health measures such as mask wearing and social distancing. The World Health Organization has emphasized the importance of monitoring, but has not declared the situation a global health emergency. These efforts were done to help reduce the impact of the surge, while also providing insights into how other countries can prepare for potential increases in hMPV activity. One significant factor contributing to the rise is the seasonality of hMPV, which coincides with winter months. Cooler temperatures and indoor gatherings facilitate viral transmission, leading to a rapid spread within communities. This belief is co-signed by the Chinese Foreign Ministry, stating, quote, "Respiratory infections tend to peak during the winter season. The diseases appear to be less severe and spread on a smaller scale compared to the previous year," unquote. Public health experts have also pointed out that the increased testing capabilities, a legacy of the COVID-19 pandemic, have also made it easier to identify cases of hMPV that might have gone undetected in the past. Additionally, social media and news outlets have amplified public awareness by sharing images of overcrowded hospitals and patients requiring oxygen support. While these scenes evoke memories of the early COVID-19 pandemic, experts caution against unnecessary panic. Unlike COVID, hMPV is a known pathogen with established patterns of transmission and disease severity. hMPV's ability to cause outbreaks in public settings, such as schools and nursing homes, puts heavy emphasis on its significance to public health. Preventative measures, including frequent hand washing, avoiding close contact with infected individuals, and wearing masks in crowded settings, are effective in curbing its spread. According to seroprevalence studies, 90 to 100% of children are infected with hMPV at some point by the ages of 5 to 10. Despite its high ability for transmission, the absence of a vaccine or specific antiviral treatment limits the ability to proactively manage the virus. As I said earlier, hMPV typically presents with symptoms that are indistinguishable from other respiratory viruses. Common symptoms include fever, sore throat, fatigue, and in some more severe cases, hMPV can cause bronchiolitis, bronchitis, and pneumonia. Although these severe cases only appear about 5 to 10% of the time, they can require hospitalization and supportive care. Now, how do you prevent this? hMPV spreads primarily through droplets released when an infected person coughs or sneezes, as well as transmission through direct contact with contaminated surfaces, followed by touching your face, nose, or mouth. The incubation period, which is the period that your body carries the disease before symptoms present, ranges from 3 to 6 days, and individuals are most contagious during the early stages of the illness. So how does hMPV and COVID compare? The obvious parallels between the two outbreaks have drawn significant and expected attention. Both are respiratory viruses that spread through droplets and contact with contaminated surfaces. They can cause overlapping symptoms such as fever, cough, and difficulty breathing. However, key differences set them apart in terms of severity, global impact, and public health response. Unlike COVID-19, which emerged as an essentially new virus in 2019, hMPV has been circulating among humans for decades. This long-standing factor has allowed partial immunity to develop within certain populations, resulting in a lower overall mortality rate. COVID-19, on the other hand, led to a global pandemic due to its high transmittability, asymptomatic spread, and higher severity in vulnerable groups. Another notable difference is the availability of vaccines. COVID-19 vaccines were developed within a year of the virus's identification, thanks to unprecedented global collaboration and funding. In contrast, no vaccine exists for hMPV, leaving prevention reliant on general public health measures. Understanding these differences is vital for contextualizing hMPV's recent surge. While it is a cause for concern, especially for healthcare systems already burdened by seasonal illnesses, it is important to understand that hMPV does not pose the same level of threat as COVID-19. Public health messaging and publications from the media should emphasize these distinctions in order to avoid unnecessary alarm while promoting awareness and preventative measures. The surge in hMPV cases has placed additional pressure on already strained healthcare systems, particularly in regions like China where respiratory infections are peaking. Hospitals have reported increased admissions, especially among children and elderly patients, who, as were previously stated, more likely to experience severe complications. Pediatric wards in particular have faced overwhelming demand, with some facilities operating at full capacity. This increased burden comes at a challenging time, as healthcare systems are also managing cases of influenza, RSV, and other seasonal illnesses. The simultaneous circulation of multiple respiratory pathogens, sometimes referred to as a triple-demic, has stretched resources thin, from hospital beds to staffing. This situation underscores the importance of robust healthcare infrastructure and the need for flexible systems capable of adapting to surges in demand. In response, some regions have implemented emergency measures, such as increasing staffing levels, opening temporary facilities, and prioritizing care for severe cases. Public health campaigns have also emphasized the importance of vaccination against influenza and RSV, as reducing cases of these illnesses can help alleviate the overall burden on healthcare systems. The surge has also reignited discussions about the importance of disease surveillance and early warning systems. Enhanced monitoring can help identify trends in respiratory illnesses and enable timely interventions to mitigate their impact. As countries continue to navigate these challenges, lessons learned from managing hMPV and other respiratory viruses can inform future preparedness efforts. The global response to hMPV has been shaped by lessons learned from previous public health crises, including the COVID-19 pandemic. Enhanced surveillance systems, established in the wake of COVID-19, have played a crucial role in identifying and tracking hMPV cases. These systems have provided valuable insights into the virus's epidemiology, enabling more targeted interventions. International organizations, such as the World Health Organization, have emphasized the importance of collaborating and monitoring hMPV. Data sharing between countries has facilitated a better understanding of the virus's spread and impact. In addition to surveillance, public health campaigns have focused on educating communities about hMPV and promoting preventative measures. These efforts include increasing access to information about symptoms, transmission, and hygiene practices regarding hMPV. By raising awareness, health authorities aim to reduce the spread of hMPV and minimize its impact on vulnerable populations. Despite these efforts, challenges remain. Limited diagnostic capacity in some regions can hinder the accurate detection and reporting of hMPV cases. Addressing these gaps will require investments in laboratory infrastructure and training for healthcare professionals. Additionally, ensuring proper access to resources such as testing kits and PPE is essential for a coordinated global response. The ongoing response to hMPV highlights the importance of a preparedness in handling widespread outbreaks. By building on existing framework and fostering international collaboration, countries can better manage current outbreaks and strengthen their capacity to respond to future public health threats. However, overall, there seems to be a general consensus that the disease is not much of a risk to become a pandemic. Despite its discovery over 2 decades ago, hMPV remains without a vaccine, leaving a significant gap in public health defenses against this common respiratory virus. Vaccine development for hMPV has faced multiple challenges, including the complexity of eliciting a robust immune response and the need to address diverse age groups with varying levels of vulnerability. researchers are exploring several approaches to develop an effective hMPV vaccine. One promising avenue is the use of live attenuated vaccines. This is a form of a vaccine you're probably most familiar with. A weakened form of the virus is designed and used to stimulate immunity without causing disease. Early preclinical trials have demonstrated the potential of this method, particularly for use in children. Another approach involves protein-based vaccines that target the F fusion protein of hMPV, a key component responsible for viral entry into host cells. These protein-based formulations have shown promise in generating a strong immune response in animal models. I would speak more on these, but I'm still working on my degree, and yeah. Another approach is the use of mRNA technology, which gained prominence during the COVID-19 pandemic and is also being investigated as a platform for a hMPV vaccine. The rapid success of mRNA vaccines for COVID-19 has encouraged researchers to apply this technology to other respiratory viruses. Preliminary studies suggest that mRNA-based vaccines could offer a quicker path to clinical trials and eventual development. The timeline for a hMPV vaccine remains uncertain, but ongoing research is making steady progress. Collaborative efforts between academic institutions, pharmaceutical companies, and government agencies has accelerated the pace of vaccine development. While no vaccine is expected in the immediate future, the increasing attention to hMPV and advancements in vaccine technology provide hope for a viable solution. If you've watched up until this point, I would like to thank you for staying with me through the whole video. Now before I go, I just wanted to remind you of a few things. 1. Don't worry. hMPV, although technically unfamiliar, is nothing new. 2. Prevention is easier than treatment. Wash your hands with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. Avoid touching your face with unwashed hands, and avoid unnecessarily close contact with those who are sick. Even though I probably sound like an over-anxious parent, it's in good faith, I promise. And that's the end of the video. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like if you want. Any suggestions or really anything you want to say, leave it in the comments. And maybe think about subscribing. If you need more time to think about it, you can check out my previous video about Indeed. It's about 10 minutes long, and should be a decent amount of time to make a decision then. Well, that's all I wanted to say. Thanks for watching, and have a good day.